Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today, friends, we are going to be working on another Project Life spread for week 46 of 2025. So this week I've pulled out a lot of my newer Ellie Studio goodies. I will link them below if you want to check anything out, but I'm using the November pocket card kit. There could be a couple cards in here from October, but they're all like newer kits. I also love this Jane Alpha sticker set. So I have the black and the white alphas, and I'm using the white on here because I thought that they would really pop off of this colorful card. But I love this alpha set because they are both thin and small. So they're perfect for Project Life. So I love that. And I'm just making a very quick and easy pocket card or title card. So I didn't have tons and tons of photos, but the way that I spaced my photos out, I wanted to do just a 3x4 title card for this one. So it totally depends on my photos for the week. Sometimes I'll do a whole 4x6 title card. Sometimes I'll do the 3x4. So that's what I ended up doing for this week. Since I had my date stamp out, I stamped my weekly date, but then I also stamped on this screenshot at the bottom. It says the last penny ever was minted today, but I was thinking, okay, I know that was during this week, but what day was it? So I Googled that and it was November the 12th. So I used my Brilliance Moonlight White ink, which I don't use that often, but I do really like it. So I stamped November 12th onto that particular screenshot so that I could keep that and know what I was talking about there. And then you'll see I have a few other pictures here along with a couple other screenshots of some TV shows that I watched. So that is the story that I'm going to work on first. So I did grab out my favorite stamp set. Y'all know this alpha is the Sophie Alpha stamp from Citrus Twist. And I also have another random like alpha from Ellie Studio. I'm not exactly sure which one it is, but it's just slightly bigger than this one. So I found this card and I thought that I would stamp out. I binged 2 shows this week. So I'm just going to use this stamp set here just for the 2 so that it would take up that entire second row. And then I'll finish the rest with the Sophie alpha stamp set here. And so that's going to be kind of like my stamped out like big title card. And I'm talking about the 2 shows that I have on either side. So I did have 2 copies of this particular little card here that has the purple on the top and bottom. So I thought that I would use it for both of these shows that I'm talking about so that they would match. So I printed off the little movie poster or show poster off of Googling, of course. And so I printed those off as a 1.5 by 2 inch little rectangle. And then I'm going to talk about each one of those shows. So that was a big part of my week because Nobody Wants This season 2 just came out. I absolutely love that show with Adam Brody and Kristen Bell, 2 of my faves. And so I rewatched the first season last week so I could like get back into that world. And then I binged the second season this week, which I really loved. And then I also finally got the chance to binge this newer thriller that was on Peacock, I think, called All Her Fault, which I also really enjoyed. It has Dakota Fanning in it along with a few other people. So they were both good. So I wanted to talk about that because I spent like basically a couple of days on Nobody Wants This, and then I did All Her Fault in one day. I watched that entire series. So they felt very like prominent for my week. So another thing that I grabbed out was the newer reading stamp set from Ellie Studio. I've used this a few other times, but I noticed that a few of the sentiments on here, most of them are specifically reading or book themed, but there was a few that you could totally use for other things. So one said like favorite series. And so I thought, well, that's perfect for this one because this is a series, just a series TV show. And then also the other one, I forget what I think it was like hot off the press or something, but I was gonna use that for this second one, but I didn't like how the sentiment was like had that oval around it. So I ended up seeing that there was another stamp on here that said like read it and loved it or something. So I just cut that stamp apart and I just stamped out the loved it, and I'm going to put that on a label and pop it onto the other show so that they'll match. So you're going to see me do that, and some of this will kind of come together here. And then while I'm working on that, I will tell you about the rest of the week. So I did have like a slower week, a lot of days at home, hence the binge watching of the TV shows. But I did have a few photos from around the house. So I got my Christmas tree up. I also got my parents' Christmas tree up. So there was a lot of getting down the Christmas decorations, putting away Halloween, getting down Christmas, kind of like figuring out what I have. And then, as I typically do, I kind of start a little early, but I like to do it in like sessions. So I'm not like out there busting everything down in, one day. So I just put up the Christmas tree, got it lit, got all the ornaments on it, all that kind of stuff. I was listening to some back episodes of the Cool Kids Club from previous Christmas time. So that was really fun. And then I have a couple close-ups of some of my ornaments on my tree there at the top. Then also, side note, I went and off camera punched out with my little star punch. It's just a handheld star punch that I got off of Amazon, and I punched out a few more of my gold stars, and then I've added those on in a couple of spots. But for the rest of my photos, I do have a cute little picture of Penny there, as y'all can see. I have a picture of one of the meals that Will made. We've been cooking at home a lot these past couple weeks, so I have the shepherd's pie that we made, and then also I have that screenshot about the penny. So I thought that was interesting. In my journaling, I say that it reminds me of whenever we were told that Pluto was no longer a planet. Does everyone remember that? And now there's no more pennies. So, very interesting. But I remember that I screenshotted it some other time this year when they were saying that they were going to stop making the penny. So I thought that this was like a nice follow-up to that, to say that like this was officially like the last day of the penny. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. So I have everything in place. I have some of my journaling started. That November card at the top is one that LA Studio does every month, and I always do really enjoy that one. It does have a place for you to put the year, so you can use this card over and over again, like throughout the years, which I like. But I just talked about like just the general highlights of the week, like us cooking at home, getting down the Christmas, putting up the Christmas tree, just kind of like changing the seasons, that sort of thing. And then on these cards, I did end up using that larger stamp set, that same one from LA Studio, and I stamped out a 1 and a 2, and then I'm just kind of giving a brief little review or whatever of each of the shows that I watched this week. Then at the bottom, I am going to put just a few thoughts about the penny, and then I'm going to pull out one of my tried and true roller phrase stamps, and I'm going to add a few of the little phrases to that last little area there on the penny card. And then also I'm going to add the right now stamp to the top of both of those movie or TV shows that I watched. And then the only other thing that I have to do at this point is that card at the bottom that says favorite, the repeat favorite card. I really like that one, but I felt like it needed something on the bottom of it. So I end up pulling back out that roller phrase stamp, and I'm going to use 2 of these smaller labels on my label sheet, and I'm just going to stamp out, I think, document and this photo. And then I'm going to use that along with that currently loving little die cut that I punched out. So you always get 2 little punchable die cut sheets with every monthly kit from LA Studio. So I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to add a couple more of the little gold stars and kind of finish that part off, and then I will be fully done. So I love the way that this one looks. I love how LA Studio cards are always really colorful, but how these are just like a little muted for fall, and I really like the vibe of that. And again, I was able to match a lot of kind of random colors with the maroons, the blues, the greens, the oranges by using this kit, and that's super helpful to me as well. So I added on my finishing touches, and I believe I'm about done. So this one again came together very quickly. I like the way that it looks. I think I'm just kind of like seeing if I wanted to add anything else, but I don't think that I do. So I am done with this one. So I hope that you enjoyed this quick and easy process video. If you did, please give me a like, and please also consider subscribing. And of course, I will be back at you super soon with more fun videos. Have a great day, friends, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, y'all.